Okay, hello, this is Bill, the Knee Pain Guru, the best in the world at eliminating knee pain without drug shots or surgery. We are on location at the Hyatt in Minneapolis, Minnesota, uh, for the Knees for Life Inner Circle. This is the April 30th edition of the Knees for Life Inner Circle. I have a ton of questions today. We're going to plow through them. For those that are watching this broadcast, if you are not a member of the Inner Circle, then you want to become a member. Really great stuff in there. You get complete access to the virtual clinic, which is the videos that I put together over the past 7 years for all my coaching clients. You get the private Facebook group, and you also get 2 of these Google Hangouts per month, which you submit questions to, or you can become live in the hangout with me, and I could work with you like I would a one-on-one coaching client. That is normally like $350 per session, and you're getting that included in the Knees for Life Inner Circle membership, only $97. It's a great deal. If you think about what you would pay for physical therapy, a trip to the doctor, injections in the knee, prescription drugs, whatever it is that it isn't working for you, you're frustrated, this is a great solution. Okay, for those that are members of the Inner Circle, look in your inbox, because I just sent all of the members that are live, that are current active members of the Inner Circle. Look in your inbox. There's a link in there that you can click on that will bring you into the Google Hangout with me, and we can work together on your knee issue. We will address that. For those members that have sent in questions, I'm going to address those in just a moment. Okay, let's see. Here we go. First question is from D. D wrote me some really great detailed information. Been having lots of issues. Discovered that wearing rigid orthotics for 20 years for pronation actually is a bad thing, as the ankle was meant to move. Rigid orthotics keep ankle way more immobile. Discovered that I have a forefoot varus, which was never diagnosed 20 years ago. It caused the foot to rotate out and contribute to knee valgus. This is all dysfunctions in the knee. Wearing since February much thinner orthotic that was custom made for her feet, that raises the ground to the first metatarsal joint of the great toes, which is the big issue in the forefoot, hence causing the foot not to swing out. Last fall, just before Halloween, I woke up one day to immense pain in my right tibia, bone in the lower leg, that those that aren't familiar. Same leg where I had some knee discomfort is going up and down the stairs. Same with up and down from a chair. I could not fully extend the leg. It took several days for pain to lessen. I am certain that the internal rotation of the femur and it is not lined up with the tibia fibula. Eventually the knee started to swell. I think the areas of the bursa. After thorough chiropractic exam, it was believed nothing was torn. Swelling seemed to decrease. Icing doesn't get rid of it. I'm finally seeing the knee ortho this Friday to get it examined and see if imaging will be needed. There's very little to no pain in the knee, but tender in areas of the bursa and tibia feels rotten. Chiro thought tibia pain was fascia related to, oh boy, D, there's too much, you're sound like you're a really, really smart woman, and you got a lot of stuff going on here. Okay, let's see, let me get here. To bend the knee, I especially hate the toilet going down and getting up. I'm wondering if inflammation from the patella, not tracking in femoral groove, but obviously await doctor's thoughts. If you suggest draining the knee or suggest cortisone, your thoughts on that. Okay. There's a misalignment of what's going on in your knee. Obvious. Everybody knows that. The doctor knows that. The chiropractor knows that. It's a tension pattern. What we label it, if it's bone, if it's tendon, if it's ligament, if it's fascia, it doesn't matter. We don't need to go there. What we need to do is begin to work with the tension patterns in your leg, free them up, and see how that begins to change. Like all this terminology confuses the heck out of what's really going on. It's kind of white noise as to what we really need to deal with. And we need to deal with the tension pattern and get your knee comfortable. So let's look at the tension patterns that are going on in the foot, in the ankle, in the knee, in the hip, and the lower back. And I'm going to give you passive stretches for that. So extending the leg is okay. Also, passive stretch, front to back passive stretch is helpful, absolutely, because you have a femur override in over the top of the tibia, which is making it difficult for you to extend that leg. Otherwise, you cannot get the right knee into a state of comfort, or keep the knee completely in a state of comfort, keep climbing the stairs 1 foot, using the left leg as right knee, blah, 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 blah. Yes, the tension pattern. It all goes back to the tension pattern. You're having challenges with the mindset. Okay. Let's start with the mindset. This is what we're going to do. Try this exercise. I call it authentic journaling. I work with all my coaching clients this way. You get a piece of paper, you get a timer, set it to 10 minutes. You get a pen. And for 10 minutes, you set that timer and you just start writing all of the irrational stuff. It's like your inner 2-year-old, your monkey mind. Any of the little negative stuff that's going on in your head, you just put it on a piece of paper. Write. Then at the end of the 10 minutes, when the timer goes off, then you rip that paper up, put it through a shredder, burn it, gone, done. It's a way of getting this emotion up and out of your body, because that's part of what's keeping you stuck, part of what is going on. When we have this emotion going on mentally, it manifests physically, creates tension patterns that the body is fighting against. When we create comfort, we put the nervous system into a state that facilitates the release of these emotional patterns. This mental state is allowed to free up because now the body is comfortable. So a lot of the emotions that you will feel after putting the body in comfort is the nervous system going, oh, things are changing, we got to slow this down, so we'll do things that'll put ourselves back into pain again. Perfect example. Client I was working with, knee feels great. He'd been in pain for a long time. Robert, he was out of Atlanta, Georgia. Knee was in pain for a long time. We finally get him out of pain, and what does he do? He puts on a 200-pound ruck and goes running for 8 miles. His knee's in pain again. Well, of course he was going to be in pain again because his knee wasn't ready. We just got it out of pain. We need to condition the body to prepare it to exercise again. But what I'm saying is, the point of what I'm making is that there's a lot of these patterns that our body wants to let go of, but our mind is not. And we have to prepare the mind to be ready to be out of pain. Like, get clear on what our life looks like on the other side of the pain. Otherwise, we're going to do the same silly things that got us in pain to begin with. It's not to say that we're never going to be able to do those things. It's just that we got to time it right. We got to have the right things in the right amounts, in the right order, with the right timing. Very important to remember. So I'm going to go into the virtual, let's see, where's a virtual clinic here, and we need to get you the things to work with: your foot, your ankle, your knee, your hip, and your lower back. Because it's important that we support that entire pattern. We can have patterns that go on within the joint itself. We can have patterns that go on within the larger, the larger part of the leg. Okay, so this is, you log into the membership site, you go into the virtual clinic, you go into the stretching lounge, the passive stretching section, and D, you've been working with these, so you know that you're going to be the intro to passive stretching, you've already seen that. I want you to do the rotation. Module 1. I want you to do Module 2, difficulty with stairs, and I want you to focus on where's the plant and pull. Where'd it go? Module 28, the plant and pull. That's going to give us the highest leverage in getting your leg to extend. We want the leg to extend so you're more comfortable when you're moving. Now for your ankle, I want you to work with modules. Ankle pain modules 17, 18, 19. Module 17, 18, and 19 for your ankles. And then modules 22 and 23 for your hips and your lower back. And what this is going to work with, we're going to work with each of those individual parts of that bigger pattern that's going on in your leg that's causing you the pain. The piece that what's going to give you the highest leverage in working with this is going to be your commitment to this. This is, if you just kind of dabble in it, you do it, you know, maybe once in the morning and you don't do it for a couple of days, you're going to lose that reference point. We have to have, like, what we're doing today that's creating comfort in your knee and it's changing. We need to get that feedback. We need to get that understanding. And what's happening is if we just come to, you know, bringing questions that it's like this hurts and this hurts and this hurts, we don't know what we did, like what passive stretches we did the last time and how it made it change. So here's your homework. This is what I want you to do. When you do the rotation, when you do forward and back, when you do the plant and pull, when you work with the ankle and the heel, I want you to notice how it feels different after you do the passive stretch. That's going to start giving us the reference point as to how these are changing. Because instead of focusing on pain, we're now focusing on comfort. Comfort is going to give us the highest leverage in moving forward. If we're always going from pain, then we don't have a reference point. Then it's like our mind is like a dog chasing its tail. Nothing is changing. So work with those. Work with those modules in the passive stretching section. Do the authentic journaling and keep a record of what's going on. That way we'll be able to address it on the next call. Honestly, with what you have going on, we need to work together. We need to work one-on-one, and that's going to be, you're going to see tremendous changes in a very short period of time. I just want you to make sure that nothing is broken or torn. Once we know nothing is broken or torn, we're good to go. Okay, let me make sure there isn't another question in here. Been drinking lots of water for a very long time now. Even as a nurse, I didn't know that doctors referred to arthritis as dehydrated joint. Absolutely, they do. Okay. One more, let's see. So, one more thing, as a former nurse, my anatomical take is that swelling outside of the knee joint, for example, what looks like on the lateral side, the lowest part of the vastus lateralis, but above the joint, you know, it's so funny. You're giving all of these really medical terms, anatomical terms, and it's like, when I work with clients, I need them to be like a 2-year-old and like, where's the boo-boo? Where's it hurt? Like, my daughter is 21 months old and it's like, you know, her finger hurts and she doesn't tell me, well, it's at the tip of the first metacarpal. She points to it. She points to her finger and says, my finger hurts. So it's infinitely more helpful with this program to think like a child when you're talking about the pain. Where does it hurt, and what are you doing when it hurts? That's going to give me a lot more leverage in terms of helping you. Okay, you're talking about these spots are painful and swollen, but not painful. Then there's whatever is going on behind the knee that feels somewhat swollen in the popliteus area. Once again, those stretches that I gave you just before is going to make a world of difference, because if you have a tension pattern where the bone in the lower leg is shifted backwards, you're going to have pain in the front and pain in the back. So addressing the pattern is going to let the waters recede, so to speak, to see what's going on in the knee. So D, go ahead and work with that. Thank you for your questions. Know how that changes. Okay, I have a question from Michael. It's talking about a meniscus tear. Following all the methods, is it possible to regrow the meniscus after partial meniscectomy? Meniscectomy, of course, is they're taking part of the meniscus out. Yes, I believe so. I've had many conversations with Dr. Frank Charles out of Greenville, South Carolina, naturopath, in terms of they have scientific studies that have supported the regrowth of cartilage and meniscus in the knee with the proper supplementation. What's most important is not that, like, if we don't change anything in your life and the meniscus has been torn and you've had surgery, the ability of the meniscus to regrow is going to be limited because we're not changing anything. The body is a system. We have garbage in, garbage out. If we start changing parts of that system, meaning we start adding things into the system that allow the knee to heal, then we have a different input, and the body's going to spit out healthy knees, regrown meniscus, healthy cartilage, regenerate cartilage, meniscus, torn tendons, and ligaments. It's possible. There's lots of instances where the body has the capacity to heal itself, but it needs the right conditions. So I will include Dr. Frank Charles's document to his ultimate supplement list for knee pain. I'm going to include that below in the description area of this video. As well as for D, I'm going to include the link to set up a time to speak with me. Okay. Next question. It's about the rotational stretch. Question from Jed. Under my knee, there is a bump. It just pops out every time I play basketball. Is that, can this video help in my case? That's one of those things that we don't know enough. And I would highly, highly, highly suggest you go get your knee checked out by a doctor. You want to make sure nothing is broken or torn. Once we get the green light from the doctor that nothing is broken or torn, you thank them very much for their time, appreciate their input. However, there is other approaches, natural approaches, because we're only dealing with the central nervous system at that point. If there's nothing broken or torn, then the central nervous system is the key to your healing what's going on in your knees. Another question from comment from Shanice on the same stretch. Wow, this really worked. I can't believe it. Yep. Question from Gerard. Respect, thanks to God. That same stretch, it works that well. It's a rotational stretch that gets the pressure off of the nerves in the knee. Comment here from It's Yoga Time. One must follow it and take advantage of this exercise. Thanks. You're very welcome. Okay, and that was all for the rotational stretch. Let me make sure there's no one in here in the Hangout. Okay, now we're going to question about patella pain or kneecap pain. And the question is from Disney Princess. The kneecap doesn't move. And that happens quite frequently with the diagnosis of, like, let's say chondromalacia, or just, pain in the kneecap. The kneecap tenses up to protect the knee, to protect the kneecap. It doesn't want to move. So there's two things that would not allow you to work with the kneecap. One is that the knee is slightly bent. And when the knee is slightly bent, it engages the kneecap. So the kneecap doesn't float freely. So we need to release the tension in the kneecap. And we also need to work with both the rotation and the forward and back movement of the knee. It's kind of like a chicken or egg thing that's going on. If you can't extend the leg, because there is an override of the bone in the upper leg with the bone in the lower leg, it creates a tension pattern that binds the kneecap. And you can't work with the kneecap until you release the pattern in the relationship of the bones in the leg. So we release the pattern of what's going on in the bones in the leg can begin to extend fully, and now the kneecap will start moving freely. That will allow you to work with the kneecap and relax the tension pattern that's causing the pain in there. So it's kind of one of those tricks of the trade. When you've been around working with knees for 16 years, you get an understanding of these little, I don't know, I want to call them secrets, but you just get an understanding of the body in a way that will allow for progress to be made in a very short period of time. So Disney Princess, try that one, and that would be in the virtual clinic. Let me get those stretches for you. So the ones that I'm talking about are modules 1 and 2, and then the kneecaps are 8. So I would work with 1 and 2 first in the passive stretching, in the virtual clinic, stretching lounge, passive stretching section. I would work with 1 and 2 first, and then I would work with modulate the kneecaps second to get that all freed up. And then let me know how that changes, and then we'll be able to take the next step after that. No pun intended. It's kind of funny. Okay, next question here. Okay, from Mike. My pain only goes away when I lay on my stomach or put the pillow between my legs. Otherwise, I am constantly extending my knee until it pops for small relief. Eating paleo, and I haven't had a drug over the counter in 2 years. Okay. Pain only goes away when I lay on my stomach or put a pillow between my legs. I probably need a little bit more information, but I want to give you some things that will begin to work with that. Okay, stretching lounge, passive stretching section. I log into the virtual clinic. Watch the intro to passive stretching, do modules 1, modules 2, modules 40, because I think it has something to do with your meniscus. And then modules 22 and 23 for your hips and your lower back. I think it's going to make a difference in terms of how that feels. So based on the information you give me, it's going to make a difference. Like I said, the D before, work with these. Let me know how it changes, how your knee feels, and then you work with this. Does the popping get worse? Does the popping get better? Are you able to bend your knee longer? It's all going to be different. Okay, here we go. On to the next question. Here from Jay. I have a right lateral meniscus tear. Surgeon said we'll need surgery, but my knee doesn't hurt. I just feel restricted to bend it all the way. I'm also scared of playing sports again and doing squats and leg presses at the gym at this point. Not sure if I should do surgery or not. Do you have suggestions? Let's see. It's kind of dependent on your age and your goals. When you catch meniscus, it can be pretty painful. It's pretty sharp. What I would do, there's a couple of things. One, I would work with Dr. Charles's Ultimate Supplement List. Like I said, I'll put that in the description of the video. He's got one specifically for torn meniscus, and I would get on the supplements with that and give it several months to work and see if we can heal the meniscus that way. The degree of the tear, how active you are, that's going to play a factor. The tension in the knee is going to be the restriction that you feel is part of inflammation, swelling, discomfort, like general fear. The body will clamp down. So I'm going to give you some stretches in the virtual clinic that are going to help. Once again, watch the intro video. Log into the virtual clinic, go to the stretching lounge, pass the stretching section, watch the intro video. Modules 1, 2, 40 is going to be a good one for that, especially meniscus. And then do 22 and 23. Give that a shot. Work with that for a week or so, and then definitely get back in touch with me. Let me know how that's going. Okay, let's see where we're at. That was Jay. Okay, LeConte had a meniscus surgery several years ago. It remained a little swollen, on the verge of swelling, and on the verge of swelling more. I feel I want to start running to get in shape for a new job, but I feel like it's getting worse from a bit of running. I'm afraid I might not be able to get through the PT test for the police department. I'm 42 and want to know if there's any hope. I've drained it many times before, had the surgery, and since it's a little swollen. I'm thinking about going to get my needles and doing it again to see if it stays better. I know I shouldn't do that myself, but I'm stubborn. Any hope for me to run? Yes, absolutely. And we could do this without needles. Your body has the ability to drain itself. That's what your lymphatic system is for. And when your body is not draining, like if you have swelling, inflammation for an extended period of time, what's happening is your lymphatic system has a tension pattern in it. Your body has a tension pattern in it that doesn't allow the lymphatic system to drain itself. It's just like if you kink a garden hose, the pressure builds up on one end of the kink, there's no water coming out of the other end of the kink. As soon as we unkink garden hose, then the water can flow freely through the hose. Same thing with your body. When your body tensed up to protect itself from injury, from surgery, whatever the case is, it holds a tension pattern that the body is afraid to let go of. This program is designed through your central nervous system to teach your body how to let go of that pattern. So now the lymphatic system can flush itself out. It can be free to move. So I'm going to give you a few stretches here. One, I want you to know there's hope, and I think we should talk personally. We can get you ready for the police department. That's not a big deal. It doesn't sound like you have anything that, well, I've dealt with so much worse, but we could definitely handle what you have going on. Let me give you some passive stretches in the virtual clinic. Let's see. This is going to sound redundant, but a lot of people deal with these, and it's very challenging. Okay, log into the virtual clinic, go into the stretching lounge, passive stretching section, watch the intro video, do modules 1, modules 2, module 40, Module 22, and Module 23. So this is going to work specifically with the intrinsic movement of the lower part of your leg in relationship to the upper part of your leg. It's going to work with your meniscus. It's also going to work with your hips and your lower back. Those are the high leverage things to begin working with to see how we can get your body to heal. Once we set up those conditions and we see the changes that are made, like with the other people that I had talked about, let me know if the knee doesn't feel as tight or swollen, or there's more movement in your knee. Realize that as we relax a tension pattern, it can cause the knee to hurt because that meniscus is a little bit torn, and now that flap can be accessible by the bone. So kind of like a hangnail. If I have a Band-Aid on the hangnail, or I got a Band-Aid right there. If I have the pressure of the Band-Aid on the hangnail, there's no way I can catch the hangnail. But if I create space and take that Band-Aid off, now there's a chance of me catching that hangnail. Same thing with the meniscus piece, that the meniscus can get hooked. Oh, you had scoped. No, you're fine. It'll be fine. We just got to get the pressure off of the nerves. You'll be okay. And we can get you through a PT test. It reminds me of a story I worked with. His name is Vinny Reddy. He's a Border Patrol agent out of Australia. And he was relegated to a desk job because his kneecap kept dislocating. And he wanted he just wanted to get back where he can exercise and play on the floor with his son and things like that. And within, I think it was 5 months, we got him where he tested out to a special operations unit in his division where they were intercepting boats that were coming into Australia. It was really cool. And now he's doing CrossFit and kettlebells and all sorts of stuff. He turned into a friggin' monster. But it was after we got him out of pain and freed up so his body was able to express. His body felt comfortable to move. And we'll do the same for you. Okay, Evelyn had a total knee replacement 11 days ago going through physical therapy. It's really hard on me. Knee still red and very swollen, beginning to wonder if I will get better. Bend's still not where they want it to be. Knee is very stiff. I feel like they're pushing me too hard. Okay, Evelyn. Yeah, knee replacement is rough. Okay, here's what I would suggest. I want you to write this down. It's called a PEMF machine, pulse electromagnetic field. See if you could find someone who's doing that in and around where you live. And I would start getting sessions there. And I would also start working with Dr. Charles's supplement list post-surgery. Pain, swelling, stiffness, anything you got going on as far as like natural support and supplementation for what you're dealing with. I think it's going to help you a lot. And once we get on the other side of that, because 11 days out of a total knee replacement, that's a rough time. So I really sympathize with you. So check that out. Let me know how it goes. Try the supplements for a month, 2 months, something like that. Begin working with that. And then check out the PEMF machine, pulse electromagnetic field, and let me know how it goes. Okay, question here from Taliana. Tore my knee ACL 8 years ago while recuperating. I developed a massive blood clot and then had reconstructive surgery. I recently had my 4th arthroscopic knee surgery with repair of meniscus tear. Knee is stiff and swollen. While sitting for just a couple of minutes, I'm in a lot of pain. When I try to stretch out my knee, When I go to stretch, it pops. I only take Advil as I don't like pain meds. I was prescribed. I have a job that requires me to stand 4 hours a night and a job where I sit most of the day. Which one should I give up, or should I wear a brace? Okay, we need to talk to figure out a strategy. You got some intense stuff going on. Wearing a brace is not going to make the knee really feel any better. It's going to give you the sense of support, but it's not going to make the knee necessarily feel better when you're standing on it and when it's bent. It just means you have something else on your knee when the knee hurts. Dr. Charles has some great stuff for pain. That's not pain med stuff. This is all natural herbs, homeopathics, that are just amazing. So I'm going to, like I said, that's going to be included in the description section. It'll have one for, pain, swelling, whatever you have going on. Work with that. I will give you the stretches in the virtual clinic. So we're going to work with the intro video. This is virtual clinic, stretching lounge, passive stretching section. The intro video, modules 1, modules 2, modules 40 for your meniscus, modules 22 and 23. Work with those and let me know how it changes. This is based on what you're telling me. Gosh, 4 surgeries. Ay, ay, ay. That's a lot of scar tissue in there too. Oh, when you're looking at Dr. Charles's stuff, definitely looking for the scar tissue. He's got some really great enzymes, systemic enzymes that help promote breaking down of scar tissue. So you're definitely going to want to check those out as well. Teresa writes, help, I'm 12 weeks post total knee replacement. I've been to 3 physical therapists. Each one said they've never seen a knee like mine. Stiff, locks up, and so much scar tissue. The explanations I had for my lack of range of motion, scar tissue, and severe pain are, I'm a white female at menopausal age with lack of estrogen lubricant. I had a surgery 37 years ago on the same knee. I had total ankle reconstruction on the same leg 15 years ago. I have osteoarthritis. Had spurs, a cyst behind the knee, was bone on bone, had a tear to my meniscus. Oh my gosh. So needless to say, she has a lot going on. You're depressed. Range of motion decreased from 75 degrees to 85, or back to 75 degrees from 85 degrees. Okay. Exercise alone is not going to get you there. Manipulation and possible arthroscopy. The doctor will decide whether or not to scope at the manipulation depending on how he feels the manipulation is going. I don't understand what they're gonna do an arthroscopy on. They've already replaced your knee. There's nothing in there. And I'm a little confused there. And this is what I told Evelyn, the same thing applies. I would work with Dr. Charles's supplements, and I would do a search for a PEMF machine. Pulse electromagnetic field, PEMF. It's a phenomenal machine. It works with the frequencies in your body. When your body's in pain, the frequency drops. The machine brings the frequency up and supports the cell's ability to heal. I think this is going to help you a lot of different ways. I would look at supplementation, and I would also look at, if I were you, I would look at diet. There's a lot of stuff going on as far as the diet if you're having these types of things that are systemic, that have been going on for a long time. This is not new stuff. So this is going to take some effort on your part, and you got to be committed to doing this, which I know you are. you want your knee to get better. You don't want to limp around the rest of your life, or worse yet, end up in a wheelchair. That would be horrible. So I would look at some anti-inflammatory diets. The one that I'm a big fan of is paleo, where you're eliminating grains and dairy, focusing on organic, local foods that are fresh and that don't have packaging, doesn't have preservatives and additives and a lot of the stuff that's in prepackaged foods. I'd look, as far as that goes, PMF machine, nutritional support, find a great nutritionist. I would also look at the supplementation, Dr. Charles's supplementation, and then begin working with that. Because you working harder obviously isn't working, right? The physical therapy, it's kind of like whipping a dead horse. It's not going to increase the range of motion, the approach that you've been doing. It's kind of like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. We have to have a different approach. We got to look at like new eyes at your situation, new eyes from a bird's eye view of what's going on in your body, and set up the conditions so your body is able to heal what's going on, so you can get the range of motion in your knee, so you aren't in so much pain, so you can sleep and generally increase the quality of your life. Okay, question here from Kelly. Had my knee scoped in November of 2014, and I still limp and deal with stiffness and popping. PT says keep doing exercises. Doc tells me it'll take a year. I know my body, it's frustrating and just feels off. Can you forward the yoga info? Thank you so much. I don't think yoga is going to get you there, to be honest, because yoga isn't going deep enough. We have to look at the central nervous system. We have to look at the tension patterns that are going on in your ankles, feet, knees, hips, lower back. I don't do yoga, so I'm not necessarily have any yoga information I could forward to you. So that's kind of my take on what you have going on. Yeah, based on what you're telling me, I would go with those standard, that beginning protocol that I usually point my clients to, which is the passive stretching section. I'm sorry, the virtual clinic, stretching lounge, passive stretching section, intro video modules 1, 2, do modules 40 since you had it scoped, and then 22 and 23 for your hips and lower back. And that's going to get the body starting to free up and loosen up. And then you're going to get so much more out of your yoga because now your body's not fighting itself in order to stretch. Liz, cannot kneel on my right knee. Started months ago with mild discomfort. It has graduated a feeling of spontaneous combustion when I kneel. Located lateral to the right patella along the IT band, does not travel. Burning, ripping type pain. If I forget and kneel down, the pain will stay for a few hours. Now if I graze it, I get this pain. Clothing touching area the same. I'm hoping it's a pinched nerve. There's no swelling or red in the area. Just the feeling of my knee is on fire. It's starting to become 24/7, not just when he nuts. Go to see a doctor. Get it checked out. Get an MRI. Determine what you're dealing with. Because until you understand what you're dealing with, it's kind of up in the air as to what's going on. And we don't know if something is torn. If something is torn that's causing the problem, that's a different situation, a different scenario than if we're just talking about a pinched nerve. Pinched nerve, I'm your guy. Something torn, now we need to look at it different, incorporates other modalities. Like, we may need a doctor, depending on the size of the tear, to trim the meniscus and, so help support us moving in that direction. So I would look at Dr. Charles's supplement list. I get an MRI to see what you have going on, and then we can go from there. Had a question here from Trisha. I had 2 total knee replacements in 2007. I've been pain-free until January 2015 when I fell in the storm. Now I have a lot of pain in the bottom of one of my kneecaps. I've been through physical therapy and I feel better. However, I now am exercising on my own and feel some movement in both kneecaps. The weird thing is I feel movement in the opposite kneecap. This is not constant, but for example, I do a set or 10 or 15. During that set, I will feel movement in the opposite knee. Am I crazy or can that happen? Well, I can't speak to whether you're crazy or not. I'm not qualified to speak on that, but obviously it happened. I don't know. I mean, there's so many things that happen, and when you add getting a total knee replacement really changes the game as far as what's going on in your knee. So, yeah, I'd check out, based on what you're asking me, I'd check with your doctor first to see what's going on. And yeah, I think that would be the thing that I'd point towards. Just check with your doctor. And the last question here from Leslie. Dear Bill, I went to see a podiatrist. He told me the muscle in my big toe are working, but weakly because I have a bunion I had since I was a teenager that is made up making a muscle not leverage properly. He wants to give me orthotics at a great cost. What do you think of orthotics? I think orthotics are good for a very short period of time. The body has the ability to integrate those changes. She says, my arch is really flat. I guess you would recommend your foot ankle toe exercises. Yes, that's what I would look at. I mean, I have flat feet, but I don't have problems with my feet. It's one of those things that it's not a function of whether the arch is flat or high. It's a function of whether you're comfortable or not. That's going to be the biggest leverage for what you have going on. As far as bunions go, I would look, just kind of thinking outside the box, I would look at Dr. Charles's supplement list to work with whatever you're experiencing in the bunion. Swelling, discomfort, pain, whatever it is. As a matter of fact, I just spoke with Dr. Charles maybe hour and a half ago, and he's going to start putting stuff in there for bone spurs, which is really interesting, like building up of calcium in the joint, stiffness in the joint causing by bone spurs, pain caused by bone spurs, and things like that. So he's going to add that to the supplement list, which I think is going to be pretty valuable. So, okay, well, that is all of the questions for today. I want to thank everybody for being on the call. If you're not a member of the Knees for Life Inner Circle, sign up today. I will put a link in the description of this video. You get the membership includes the Facebook page, a community of people who are on a quest to have strong, healthy knee joints the rest of their life. You also get 2 Google Hangouts per month, which is where you can interact with me, as well as full unfettered access to the virtual clinic, the virtual knee pain clinic, which includes the stretching lounge, the knee strength studio, the hydration station, the breathing room, and the nutrition kitchen. And these are all the areas that I focus on in this program to give you all of the tools you need to completely eliminate, or actually set up the conditions in your body so your body can heal your knees and completely eliminate your knee pain. So if you're committed, if that's something you're committed to, then do it. Get involved, participate. You're obviously, the past hour I've been talking consistently on all of these different situations and scenarios, and I get results. You will see results in a very short period of time if you're committed, if you're consistent with this type of work. If you just kind of hit it and quit it, well, what's going to happen is you're going to get spotty results, and you're going to be in pain for much longer than you have to be. I believe the body has the infinite capacity to heal itself. It knows how to heal your knees. And if it's not, something in the way is preventing it from doing so. All we got to do is remove those blocks, set up the conditions, and the body just moves to healing. So this is Bill Paravano, the Knee Pain Guru. Thank you again so much for being on the call. And I will see you on the next Knees for Life Inner Circle, which is going to be on May 14th at 2 p.m. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time.